Microsoft Azure is a very important part of the cloud landscape. Today, I'm going to show you how to install the Osirium PXM platform from the Azure Marketplace. So here we are in the Microsoft Azure portal. We're going to go to the Marketplace. Now we could search in the security and identity section, or we could just do a general search for Osirium. So here we are, and we found our PXM platform, and now we're going to select the virtual appliance. Here's a bit of information about the virtual appliance. One thing to note that it's a bring your own license model, and if you need an eval license, please contact sales@osirium.com. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go and create our virtual appliance. So, step one, we need to give it a name. And once we've given a name, we then need to set up the username to connect with. Now this has to be Osirium_support. It's very important. And we must use password-based authentication, not SSH public key authentication. So we enter in here a nice, long, strong, complex password and confirm it. And for this example, I'm going to create a new resource group, but if you want to drop it into your own resource group, however you got your Azure organized, feel free. So we're going to go ahead and create that virtual machine now. We've then got a choice of sizes. There's a couple of recommendations that we make on the machines that you can use, or you can pick your own for your own needs. So I'm going to pick the standard 2 CPU, 8 GB of RAM model. Next step is to configure the networking that Osirium will have. Now by default, the virtual machine comes with a public IP address, and we recommend that if you want to access Osirium over the internet, then this public IP address be changed to a static assignment type. Along with this public IP address, there's also a network security group which has been defined to go along with the virtual machine. This allows SSH, HTTPS, and the Osirium desktop client connection on port 9002 to come in and access via that public address. But if you don't need the public address and you're using an Azure VPN, then you can access it privately. Now we get to the final validation screen. We just check our settings. And we then go ahead and create our machine. So that's now being deployed. So our machine's all deployed, ready to go. The first thing we need to do is to SSH onto this machine to do the rest of the install of the software. So what we want to do is go and grab the public IP address, so we can use the click to copy option within the Azure portal. That gives us the public IP address. Then we want to open up an SSH connection to that address. So we need to accept the SSH key for this new connection, and then we go into the Osirium virtual machine. We need to log on as the Osirium_support account using the password that was used within the Azure portal. Once logged in, we now need to do one final step, as what the message of the day says here, to run sudo osirium-install to actually now set up the software. So we go ahead and run that. Press enter to install. First thing we have to do is accept the EULA. Then the installation continues. We're not going to restore a backup, we're just going to do a clean install, so we're going to continue. Now we're presented with our master encryption key, so we need to take a copy of that and store that nice and safely. We then need to re-enter it, just to confirm that we've stored that key safely. And then final step is we have to set a password for the primary superadmin account. So again, a nice, long, strong, complex password here. And then we confirm it as well. Once we've finished our installation, the Osirium appliance will automatically reboot. But when it reboots, Osirium will have regenerated the SSH key. So if we're now trying to connect again, we will get a warning that the SSH fingerprint has changed. That's because Osirium has regenerated it. But if we accept that, and then go back in as the Osirium support account, we can now see that Osirium is installed and the message of the day banner has changed. So now we can exit out of Osirium and we're ready to go on to the next step. So what we need to do now is go back to that public IP address, this time with a web browser, and that's to be able to download the desktop client. So we download that here and we install that as per the normal desktop client installation. So we download that, run the installer. This doesn't require any admin rights, so this installs just as the local user, and it goes, and we finish on that. Now we put in our address for Osirium. This time we're logging in as the super admin account that we set up on the blue screen. We enter the password that was given to the super admin account, and now we can connect and log on to Osirium itself. Confirm the fingerprint to the download screen there, just to make sure we've got the correct fingerprint. And now we're connected to Osirium. We've got our Osirium server in the desktop client. Now we can open up the browser interface to manage it. First thing this is going to ask is for a license file. So we upload our license file, and if you need an eval license, you can get one from sales@osirium.com. Once uploaded, the browser refreshes, and we've now got an installed and initially set up Osirium ready to be configured. So that's the Osirium PXM platform running on Microsoft Azure, ready to provide privileged access and privileged task management into your hybrid cloud environment. If you'd like to know any more, please get in touch.